Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Rough draft of assignment 1. Write about the most impactful day of your life. The day my period came in 5th grade was just that, the ending of a childhood sentence. The next phrase starting in all caps. No one explained what to do. I'd heard older girls talk about that time of the month, but never what someone was supposed to use. Mommy was still at work when I got home from school and went to pee, only to see my panties smudged in blood. I pushed Twin off the computer and Googled blood down there. Then I snuck money from where Mommy hides it beneath the pans, bought tampons that I shoved into my body the way I'd seen Father Sean cork the sacramental wine. It was almost summer. I was wearing shorts. Put the tampon in wrong. It only stuck up halfway, and the blood smeared between my thighs. When Mommy came home, I was crying. I pointed at the instructions. Mommy put her hand out but didn't take them. Instead, she backhanded me so quick, she cut open my lip. Good girls don't wear tampones. Are you still a virgin? Are you having relations? I didn't know how to answer her. I could only cry. She shook her head and told me to skip church that day, threw away the box of tampons, saying they were for cueros. She would buy me pads, said 11 was too young, that she would pray on my behalf. I didn't understand what she was saying, but I stopped crying. I licked at my split lip. I prayed for the bleeding to stop. Final draft of assignment 1, what I actually turn in. Xiomara Batista, Friday, September 7th, Mrs. Galliano, the most impactful day of my life. Final draft. When I turned 12, my twin brother saved up enough lunch money to get me something fancy, a notebook for our birthday. I got him some steel knuckles so he could defend himself, but he used them to conduct electricity for a science project instead. My brother's a genius. The notebook wasn't the regular marble kind most kids use. He bought it from the bookstore. The cover is made of leather, with a woman reaching to the sky etched on the outside, and a bunch of motivational quotes scattered like flower petals throughout the pages. My brother says I don't talk enough, so he hoped this notebook would give me a place to put my thoughts. Every now and then I dress my thoughts in the clothing of a poem, try to figure out if my word changes once I set down these words. This was the first time someone gave me a place to collect my thoughts. In some ways, it seemed like he was saying that my thoughts were important. From that day forward, I've written every single day. Sometimes it seems like writing is the only way I keep from hurting. The routine is the same every school year. I go straight home after school, and since Mommy says that I'm la niña de la casa, it's my job to help her out around the house. So after school, I eat an apple, my favorite snack, wash dishes and sweep, dust around Mommy's altar to La Virgen Maria, and even avoid Poppy's TV if he's home, because he hates when I clean in front of it while he's trying to watch Las Noticias or a Red Sox game. It's one of the few things Twin and I argue about, how he never has to do half the cleaning shit I do, but is still liked better by Mommy. He helps when he's home, folds the laundry, scrubs the tub, but he won't get in trouble if he doesn't. I hear one of Mama's famous sayings in my ear, Mira muchacha, life ain't fair. That's why we have to earn our entrance into heaven. Altar boy. Twin is easier for Mommy to understand. He likes church. As much of a science geek as he is, he doesn't question the Bible the way that I do. He's been an altar boy since he was 8, could quote the New Testament in Spanish and English since he was 10. Leads discussions at Bible study even better than the priest. No disrespect to Father Sean. He even volunteered at Bible camp this summer, and now that school started, he'll miss the stations of the cross dioramas his campers made from popsicle sticks, the stick figure drawings of Mary in the manger, the mosaic made of marbles that he hung in the window of our room. The one I threw out this afternoon while I was cleaning, watched it fall between the fire escape grates. For a second, it caught the sun in 100 colors, until it smashed against the street. I'll apologize to Twin later, say it was an accident. He'll forgive me. He'll pretend to believe me. Twin's name. For as long as I can remember, I've only ever called my brother Twin. He actually is named after a saint, but I've never liked to say his name. It's a nice name, or whatever, even starts with an X like mine, but it just doesn't feel like the brother I know. His real name is for Mommy, teachers, Father Sean. But Twin? Only I can call him that. A reminder of the pair will always be. More about Twin. Although Twin is older by almost an hour, of course the birth got complicated when it was my turn, he doesn't act older. He is years softer than I will ever be. When we were little, I would come home with bleeding knuckles, and Mommy would gasp and shake me. Muchacha, siempre peleando. Why can't you be a lady, or like your brother? He never fights. This is not God's way. And Twin's eyes would meet mine across the room. I never told her he didn't fight because my hands became fists for him. My hands learned how to bleed when other kids tried to make him into a wound. My brother was birthed a soft whistle, quiet, barely stirring the air, a gentle sound, but I was born all the hurricane he needed to lift and drop those that hurt him to the ground. Tuesday, September 11th. It's only the first week of 10th grade, and high school is already a damn mess. In ninth grade, you were in between, no longer in junior high, but still treated like a kid. In ninth grade, you were always frozen between trying not to smile or cry until you learn that no one cares about what your face does, only what your hands will do. I thought 10th grade would be different, but I still feel like a lone shrimp in a stream where too many are searching for someone with a soft shell to peel apart and crush. Today I already had to curse a guy out for pulling on my bra strap, then shoved a senior into a locker for trying to whisper into my ear. Big body joint, they say. We know what girls like you want. And I'm disgusted myself for the slight excitement that shivers up my back at the same time that I wish my body could fold into the tiniest corner for me to hide in. How I feel about attention. If Medusa was Dominican and had a daughter, I think I'd be her. I look and feel like a myth, a story distorted, waiting for others to stop and stare. Tight curls that spring like fireworks out of my scalp, a full mouth pressed hard like a razor's edge, lashes that are too long, so they make me almost pretty. If Medusa was Dominican and had a daughter, she might wonder at this curse, at how her blood is always becoming some fake hero's mission, something to be slayed, conquered. If I was her kid, Medusa would tell me her secrets, how it is that her looks stop men in their tracks, why they still keep on coming, how she outmaneuvers them when they do. Saturday, September 15th. Games. With one of our last warm weather Saturdays, twin Caridad and I go to the goat park on the Upper West Side. Instead of ice skating when we were little, neither twin nor I are particularly athletic, but Caridad loves trying new social activities. And this week, it's a basketball tournament. The three of us have always been tight like this, and although we're different since we were little, we've just clicked. Sometimes twin and Caridad are the ones who act more like twins, but our whole lives we've been friends, we've been family. Already we feel the chill that's biting at the edge of the air. It will be hoodie weather soon, and then North Face weather after that. But today it's still warm enough for only t-shirts. I'm kind of glad for it because the half-naked ball players, they're fine. Running around in ball shorts and no tees, their muscles sweaty, their skin flushed, I lean against the fence and watch them race up and down the court. Caridad is paying attention to the ball movement, but Twin's staring as hard as I am at one of the ballers. When he catches me looking, Twin pretends to clean his glasses on his shirt. When the game is over, the Dickman team won. We shuffle away with the crowd. But just as we get to the gate, one of the ball players, a young dude about our age, stops in front of me. Say, you're looking at me kind of hard, Mommy. Damn it. Recently, I haven't been able to stop looking at the drug dealers, the ball players, random guys on the train. But although I like to look, I hate to be seen. All of a sudden, I'm aware of how many boys in the ball court have stopped to stare at me. I shake my head at the baller and shrug. Twin grabs my arm and begins pulling me away. The baller steps to Twin. Oh, is this your girl? It's a lot of body for someone as small as you to handle. I think she needs a man a little bigger. When I see his smirk and his hand cupping his crotch, I break from Twin's grip, ignore Caridad's intake of breath, take a step until I'm right in my homeboy's face. Homie, what makes you think you can handle me when you couldn't even handle the ball? I suck my teeth as the smile drops off his face. The dudes around us start hooting and hollering in laughter. I keep my chin up high and shoulder my way through the crowd. After. It happens when I'm at bodegas, it happens when I'm at school, it happens when I'm on the train, it happens when I'm standing on the platform, it happens when I'm sitting on the stoop, it happens when I'm turning the corner, it happens when I forget to be on guard, it happens all the time. I should be used to it. I shouldn't get so angry when boys and sometimes grown-ass men talk to me however they want, think they can grab themselves or rub against me or make all kinds of offers, but I'm never used to it, and it always makes my hands shake, always makes my throat tight. The only thing that calms me down after Twin and I get home is to put my headphones on, to listen to Drake, to grab my notebook and write all the things I wish I could have said, make poems from the sharp feelings inside that feel like they could carve me wide open. It happens when I wear shorts, it happens when I wear jeans, it happens when I stare at the ground, it happens when I stare ahead, it happens when I'm walking, it happens when I'm sitting, it happens when I'm on my phone. It simply never stops. Okay? Twin asks me if I'm okay, and my arms don't know which one they want to become, a beckoning hug or falling anvils. Twin must see it on my face, this love and distaste I feel for him. He's older by a whole 50 minutes, and a guy, but he never defends me. Doesn't he know how tired I am, how much I hate to have to be so sharp-tongued and heavy-handed? He turns back to the computer and quietly clicks away, and neither of us has to say we are disappointed in the other. Sunday, September 16th. On Sunday, I stare at the pillar in front of my pew so I don't have to look at the mosaic of saints or the 6-foot sculpture of Jesus rising up from behind the priest's altar. Even with the tambourine and festive singing these days, church seems less party and more prison. During communion. Ever since I was 10, I've always stood with the other parishioners at the end of Mass to receive the bread and wine, but today, when everybody thrusts up from their seats and faces Father Sean, my ass feels bolted to the pew. Caridad slides past, her right brow raised in question, and walks to the front of the line. Mommy elbows me sharply, and I can feel her eyes like bright lampposts shining on my face, but I stare straight ahead, letting the stained glass of La Madre Maria blur into a rainbow of colors. Mommy leans down. Mira, muchacha, go take God. Thank him for the fact that you're breathing. She has a way of guilting me compliant. Usually it works. But today I feel the question sticking to the roof of my mouth like a wafer. What's the point of God giving me life if I can't live it as my own? Why does listening to His commandments mean I need to shut down my own voice? Church Mass. When I was little, I loved Mass, the clanging tambourines and guitar, the church ladies singing hymns to merengue rhythms, everyone in the pews holding hands and clapping. My mother, tough at home, would cry and smile during Father Sean's mangled Spanish sermons. It's just when Father Sean starts talking about the scriptures that everything inside me feels like a too full, too dirty kitchen sink. When I'm told girls shouldn't. When I'm told to wait, to stop, to obey. When I'm told not to be like Delilah, Lot's wife, Eve. When the only girl I'm supposed to be was an impregnated virgin who was probably scared shitless. When I'm told fear and fire are all this life will hold for me. When I look around the church and none of the depictions of angels or Jesus or Mary, not one of the disciples look like me, Maranita and big and angry. When I'm told to have faith in the Father, the Son, and men are the first ones to make me feel so small. That's when I feel like a fake, because I nod and clap and amen and hallelujah, all the while feeling like this house, His house, is no longer one I want to rent. Not even close to haikus. Mommy's back is a coat hanger, her anger made of the heaviest wool. It must keep her so hot. Mira, muchacha, when it's time to take the body of Christ, don't you ever opt out again. But I can hold my back like a coat hanger, too, straight and stiff and unbending beneath the weight of her hard glare. I don't want to take the bread and wine, and Father Sean says it should always and only be done with joy. Mommy gives me a hard look. I stare straight ahead. It's difficult to say who's won this round. Holy water. I just don't know about that girl, Mommy loud whispers to Poppy. They never think that Twin and I can hear, but since they barely say 2 words to each other, unless it's about us or dinner, we're always listening when they speak, and these flimsy Harlem walls barely muffle any sound. Recently, she's got all kinds of devils inside of her, and they probably come from you. I've talked to Padre Sean, and he said he'll talk to her in confirmation class. And I want to tell to Mommy, Father Sean talking to me won't help. That incense makes bow tie pasta of my belly. But all the lit candles beckon like fingers. They want to clutch around my throat. That I don't understand her God anymore. I hear Poppy shushing her quiet. It's that age. Teenage girls are overexcited. Puberty changes their mind. Son locus. Since Poppy knows more about girls than she does, she stays silent at his reply. I don't know if it's prayer to hope that soon my feelings will drown me faster than the church's baptismal water. People say, Poppy was mujeriego. Did we get drunk at the barber shop and touch the thigh of any woman who walked too close? They say his tongue was slick with compliments and his body was like a timber with the skin stretched too tight. They said Poppy was broken, that he couldn't get women pregnant, so he tossed his seeds to the wind, not caring where they landed. They said Twin and I saved him, that if it wasn't for us, Mommy would have kicked him tomorrow, or a jealous husband would have shanked him dead. They say Poppy used to love to dance, but now he finally has a spine that allows him to stand straight. They say we made it so. On Poppy. You can have a father who lives with you, who every day eats at the table and watches TV in the living room and snores through the whole night and grunts about the bills or the weathers or your brother's straight A's. You can have a father who works for transit authority and reads a listing diario and calls back to the island every couple of months to speak to Primo so-and-so. You can have a father who, if people asked you had to say lived with you, you have to say is around. But even as he brushes by you on the way to the bathroom, he could be gone as anybody. Just because your father's present doesn't mean he isn't absent. All over a damn wafer. As repentance for not participating in communion last time, Mommy makes me go to evening mass with her every evening this week, even the days that aren't confirmation class. When communion time comes, I stand in line with everyone else, and when Father Sean places the Eucharist onto my tongue, I walk away, kneel in my pew, and spit the wafer in my palm while I'm pretending to pray. I can feel the hot eyes of the Jesus statue watching me hide the wafer beneath the bench, where his holy body will now feed the mice.